Here we go. The lies the spiritual industry sold us. Episode 3. You have to earn your spirituality. What if one of the biggest lies the spiritual industry ever sold us was that you have to earn your spirituality? That if you meditated longer, practiced harder, never missed a day, kept your vibration high, ate perfectly, followed the right routine, then one day you'd finally become spiritual. I believed that for a long time, not because anyone came right out and said those words, but because somewhere along the way, I quietly began believing that spirituality wasn't something I had to achieve, instead of something I was meant to live. And that's the conversation I'd like to have with you today. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Divine Angelic Guidance, where spirituality meets midlife rediscovery. I am your host, Michelle Irene Stupsky, a certified spiritual life coach, author of You Weren't Born to Fit In, and a fellow traveler on this beautiful, messy, sacred journey we call life. Each week, I offer a different perspective, not to tell you what to believe, but to invite you in to discover what feels true within your own heart. So if these conversations encourage you, I'd be so grateful if you'd follow the podcast, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who may need to hear it most. Last week, or last episode, I should say, we explored the image of identity and hierarchy, and we found our way into the spiritual industry. And today I'd like to go one step deeper because once we believe spirituality has levels, it's easy to believe we have to earn our way to those levels. For years, I learned from wonderful teachers. Some encouraged waking before sunrise. Some emphasized long meditation practices. Others believed journaling was essential. There were oracle cards, breath work, movement, silence, specific foods, gratitude lists, moon rituals, and honestly, many of these practices were beautiful and many still have a place in my life today, but somewhere in the middle of all that learning, I noticed something that was happening inside of me. Instead of asking what helps me feel connected, I was asking, am I doing enough? And if I missed a day, my life went into a tailspin. That was fun. One teacher even suggested waking up 2 hours earlier every morning. Okay, so I could create an hour of silence before my day began. For some people, that's exactly what they need. For me, it wasn't. And that's when something beautiful began to shift. I realized spirituality isn't one size fits all. It isn't a checklist, not a performance, definitely not a competition, which could be another episode, FYI. It's a relationship, not just with the divine, but with yourself. That's why when I wrote You Weren't Born to Fit In, I devoted an entire section to something I believe we may overlook. It's called grounding, but not just any sort of grounding. I call it sacred grounding because of the deeper intention connected to the practice. Not as another technique, not as another spiritual assignment, but as the foundation of everything else. In the book I wrote, the purpose of grounding in the context of your spiritual journey serves as the foundation upon which all the other sacred codes are built. It is the thread that weaves together every lesson, every insight, every awakening. That changed the way I understood spirituality. Because grounding isn't about becoming more spiritual, and you don't have to always do it outside, although the benefits feel more amazing. But it's about becoming more present and more rooted and more connected and more yourself. Grace, peace, ease. One of my favorite passages in the book says, to root is to remember, to anchor is to activate, and to center is to come home. And when I first wrote those words, I wasn't trying to sound poetic. I was describing what had happened to me. For years, I thought grounding meant standing barefoot in the grass and imagining the roots growing into the earth. And while those practices are wonderful, and yes, it does mean that, grounding became something much deeper. It became a coming home to my soul, a coming home to my relationship and the frequency with the divine, and to that truth that I had been chasing spirituality. Another passage says that this sacred practice is much more than stillness. It's the moment we take what we've learned and begin to embody it. I love that word, embody, because I think that's where so many of us get stuck. We learn and we read and we attend the workshops and we listen to the podcasts. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that. We take the notes, and I hope you do. We collect beautiful ideas, but eventually wisdom has to become the way we live. Otherwise, it stays just information. It never becomes transformation. And as I continue in the book, I write, it is what transforms wisdom into action, insight into integration, and spiritual knowing into soul led living. Isn't that what we're all longing for? Not more information, but integration. Not another spiritual badge, but a spiritual life. That's why I no longer believe spirituality is something we learned. And I don't think I really did believe that, but I believe it's something we remember. It's an innate birthright, and we don't become spiritual. We remember that we've always been spiritual. We don't earn our connection with the divine. We awaken to the connection that has always been there. Every practice, every prayer, every meditation, every moment of sacred grounding isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you've always been. It's remembering to pause before reacting, to practice gratitude while making dinner, to breathe when life feels overwhelming. The essence of divine being present in folding the laundry and sitting in meditation. It's remembering that your angels don't only meet you in sacred ceremonies, they walk beside you every day. Grounding reminds us that the sacred isn't somewhere else. It's right here, right now, exactly where we are. And toward the end of that chapter, I wrote something that still gives me goosebumps every time I read it. Grounding invites you to slow down, to breathe deeply, and to listen to the whispers of your soul. It is in these quiet moments of connection that you truly feel the love and support that the earth offers you. A love that is unconditional, nurturing, and ever present. And then I wrote these words. This is the love you deserve, the love you have always craved, the love that is now available to you in abundance. To ground yourself is to come home to your soul. That's what I hope you take away from today's conversation. You don't have to earn spirituality. You don't have to perform it. You don't have to copy someone else's routine, hoping it will eventually make you enough. Learn from teachers, yes. Be inspired by mentors, sure. Try different practices. That's part of the journey. But don't stop there. Let those practices become your own. Let them fit your season of life. Let them fit your personality. Let them fit the beautiful relationship you're creating with the divine and their angels. Because eventually your spiritual practice stops being something you do and becomes the way you live. So if you're wondering where to begin or perhaps where to begin again, I'd love to walk beside you. Inside my free Divine Angelic Guidance community, you'll find guided meditations, journal prompts, angel messages, and simple spiritual practices designed to help you discover what resonates with your life, not mine. I'll leave the link in the description below. So come explore the free resources and take what speaks to your heart and leave what doesn't, and trust yourself to discover the sacred rhythm that is truly yours. Because you were never born to fit into someone else's spiritual journey. You were born to remember your own. Until next time, remember that someone is always with you, watching over you, guiding you. You are never alone, my friend. Take gentle care of yourself, trust the wisdom within, keep following that quiet light that has always been leading you home.